Welcome back to the Nisai Show. We are back with the fourth episode of the Nisai Show Season 3. I'm May and I'll be your host today. I'm learning at Nisai with IGCSE Math, Science, and Business Studies. The Nisai Show is designed for students of Nisai, where they can raise their voices, share their meaningful stories, listen to each other, and just be themselves. Today, the Nisai Show welcomes our esteemed guests, Nisai, MV, and Sunny. Nice to meet you, MV, Sunny. Can you introduce a little about yourself?
Hello, I'm MV and I've been studying in Nisai since 2021 and I'm in IGCSE. I take physics, math, English and business and it's nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Nguyễn Nhật Hoa, but everyone in Nisai calls me Sunny. I'm currently 14 years old and I'm from Vietnam and I've been studying with Nisai since 2022 as a semi-homeschool student. And I'm also a kind of scholarship.
Same. I'm also a kind of scholarship recipient. Well, thank you both of you guys. Now that we know something about you, what brings you here today with us?
Well, we would like to share our thoughts on online international friendships, something about how we can form meaningful bonds through screens based on our experiences.
MV, do you have any thoughts to share about, our topic of today's episode?
Well, I think that international friendship is very underestimated and I'd like to finally bring it up to its value.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree with your opinion. Well, MV, as a full-time homeschool student, was it difficult for you to make new friends when you first started with Nisai?
No, actually, it was easy. There were about 7 to 10 classmates with me and they were all very open and communicative, which made it easier to make friends.
Yeah, I think that as long as you are friendly and you can get along well with people, I think that it's easy to make friends online. And Sunny, as a part-time student, a homeschool student, do you find it easier or harder to make friends compared to traditional school?
Well, if I'm being honest, and in my personal view only, although there are clear differences between an online studying environment and a traditional face-to-face one, I don't actually find making friends in either environment particularly easier or harder than the other, as I am not the type to take the initiative very often, despite how excited I am to befriend people, which leads to me waiting for someone to speak up to me first, whether it's through screens or offline. Once someone has made the first move, I almost instantly get attached. So for me, personally, it's not that different.
Right. I think that if you have the guts to go up to someone and say, "Oh, I want to be your friend," I think it's always easy in both, traditional school and online school that way. What are some ways that you've made friends at Nisai, MV?
Usually, I emailed the person who caught my eye the most, and we chat through there and get each other's phone numbers and later move on to WhatsApp or Gmail chats. Or I'd find people with common interests in the chill out zone groups and email them and so on.
Right. I think you're very friendly with everyone. I always see your messages in class and I was like, I have this initial reaction that, you're very sweet. And Sunny, do you want to share some ways you make friends in Nisai?
Well, yeah, I made some friends through social media, emails, messaging apps, and class discussions. We initially share our contacts through email after every class, whenever we think we'd become good pals. And it relies on fate whether or not the other uses the same. I remember sharing lots and lots of short comics with MV through email only because I did not happen to have WhatsApp or any other platforms that she uses.
I think it also depends on, what platform you're using, since right now, I think we as students have so many different vehicles to talk to each other, right? And do you remember any fun moments that you guys have?
Joking about how weird my first comic design was one of them.
And how do you stay in touch with each other and your Nisai friends outside of class?
I mean, I usually call them here and there because every time I make a friend, I'd rather just talk to them over the phone because kind of gives you that connect which you can't get through chatting. Or I just chat to them. Usually Sunny and I remain in contact through discussing new comics. I have another friend Muji who stays in contact with me via WhatsApp and we write stories together usually.
Wait, that's so fun because Muji is also on the Nisai Show. I think a few episodes back. She's very sweet, right? And Sunny, have you ever met any Nisai friends in real life? Would you like to, or would you like to meet Envy, perhaps?
Well, yeah, actually, I have, but only once. I have a Vietnamese classmate in my IGCSE English class named Mimi, and we happened to meet at a Nisai event once, where she was the MC and guitarist while I played the violin for the kids at the place before the show ends and help out with the arts and crafts things. She was really pretty, I gotta admit.
Hey, I think that you're very pretty too, Sunny. And I think that making online friends and be able to meet them, it's so fun. And Envy, would you like to meet Sunny in real life?
Of course, I would, especially in an anime hangout because I think we have a lot of anime favorites or comic favorites. I have met someone from Nisai before. She's an ex Nisai student named Sammy. She's also Indian and lived in another city. So when I did go to that city, we met, and turns out we had a lot more in common than we thought.
Oh, yay! I happen to know Sammy too. What challenges do you face when, maintaining online friendships, and how do you overcome them? Because I've heard that sometimes there's a term called ghosting, and they just disappear one day. How do you overcome them, Sunny?
Well, being friends in an online school, as I said before, the only thing we can rely on to stay in touch with each other is social media ads and messaging ads, as the friends we're talking to are very likely to be from another city, another country or state. We may not even use the same platforms and depend solely on class chats or emails. That's what I do. Now, for instance, in Vietnam we have this app named Zalo, which is the app I mentioned a while ago but did not tell you the name. And I notice a very small portion of foreigners know of it. It makes it hard for Zalo users like me to stay online all the time, but I do still try to check my emails after every single class to make sure that I don't miss out anything. In addition to that, it's quite difficult to tell if the other's feelings are genuine or they're just masking their insecurities behind a lie. All we can do is just hope that they don't.
We just hope. And if both of us have the common interests and everything, we both make an effort for our friendship, I think it would work fine. And do you both have any favorite things in common?
Like comics, jokes, humors, maybe movies, I'd say.
Okay, you guys have similar tastes. What about you, Sunny? Do you have any things in common with Envy?
Yeah, if there was one thing I and Envy both agree we love to do is drawing. I play myself as a comic artist and have created an entire comic drawing group, which Envy is also in.
And can I ask Envy that what are your train of thoughts when you write plots? Because that's also very difficult.
Well, I'm inspired by the things I see online or my personal in real life experiences. For example, I'm in a class and someone does a very fun presentation. I try to reenact all the things, all the stories they told me about in the presentation, but through drawings. Or maybe I see memes or animation memes on TikTok or YouTube and I decide to make my own. I don't really have any original plot, but many of them are inspired by so many things. For example, the series I'm working on, Evil Escalates, is based on a comic series from another very famous artist. But I don't take all the inspiration, of course.
Yes, we still need to have our original touch to it. And Emily, how are your inspirations with drawing?
Yeah, so there was this butterfly which I used to see a lot downstairs when I went for my walk. So one of my first comic characters was based on her. I named her Princessa. It's a very cringy name. Take that name for her. And I also take characteristics from people I see around me or I just brainstorm.
I think art is beautiful in many ways, and you can always see it and look at it, admire it. Well, do you think having common interests make it easier to form friendships online? And did it the shared interests between you guys help you connect with each other or with other Nisai friends?
Yes, it did help. I think it does help, and it did. You already know it helped from Sunny and me. to get our friendship stronger. But it also helps for me in Muji purely because of the stories thing, which brought us closer together.
Although sometimes it may not contribute a lot to the academic stuff we study, it helps us find common ground, know each other better, and have something to bond over. Besides Envy, I have two other friends who love drawing. Their names are Reina and Chloe. They post their artworks on social media, which I don't, so they are very curious to see mine.
Ah, that's so cool because you both share arts with each other, share your common interests. Well, talking about arts, what about homework or assignments at Nisai? After class, you discuss about it together?
I usually don't talk about my school life with my friends because I'd rather talk to them about personal life so I'd get closer to them.
Right. What about you, Sunny?
Traditional schools, yes, I do discuss about class assignments and ask for solutions and all that, but online schools like Nisai, I usually don't. I try to do everything on my own and not rely so much on outside help because studying at Nisai, we already had the opportunity to turn on our cameras and our mics, so I had to make it somewhat believable that I did it on my own and without cheating and all that. I'm sort of insecure about asking other people about a topic that I'm supposedly to know a lot about since we went over it a lot in his side, so I usually just don't. I share about my personal life and personal interests a lot, but never homework.
Have you ever collaborated on art project together? And would you like to in the future?
We already are right now. My comic series, Evil Escalates. However, if it's possible, I'd also like to do a few digital collaborations with Envy. Like I draw half and she completes the other. Only after I get better at digital art though.
I think you guys are like the perfect combination for like a beautiful storyline plus art. How does, art help you express yourself or relax after study?
I'm Art always helped me rest because everything I paint or draw or sketch, they always have some sort of meaning, even if it is just a joke. I like seeing my paintings here and there so I can keep in touch with my inner self and not just my practical side.
That's wonderful to hear. What about you, Sunny?
Well, art for me has always been a wonderful way for me to relax after studying. And during studying, also, I study by drawing little doodles to help me remember stuff, and my teacher is encouraged that. It's a creative outlet that allows me to unwind and shift my focus from academic tasks to something more free flowing and enjoyable. Whenever I'm drawing, painting, or even just doodling,
Yes. I think I both agree with both of you guys' opinions. I think that art or any form of art, for example, sports, we all have a different way to express yourself, to relax yourselves after a long day of studying. And how have your online friendships with Nisei students helped you with your studies and personal growth?
It has helped me more in my personal growth than it has with my studies. As you know, I usually refrain talking about my studies. But when I do talk to my friends, we talk about what's going on in each other's lives. And then what I know is they always tell me what they're going through, which helps me get more patience and understanding for them, considering it's also an online relationship. So when they don't respond for a long time, you really need to keep that patience before you start judging them.
And what about you, Sunny? How has it helped you with, your studies or your personal growth?
well, online friendships with Nisayers have played a huge role in both my academic journey and personal growth, especially personal growth. Having friends who are going through the similar experience makes studying less boring and less isolating. Like, I know there are other people out there who go oh, I hate mock tests. Why another assignment? Just like me. I'm not the only one in this world. They kind of motivate me to keep going whenever it's through encouragement or through small chats. Whenever whenever I just get bored after a while of studying, they entertain me.
I'm so happy to hear that you guys both have your motivation to keep going, right? And do you think that online friendships are just as meaningful as in-person friendships? Why or why not?
Yes, I do think there is a very big part of online relationships which fully depend on if you actually get well together or not, and that is the long distance. Either you miss each other and get closer, or you drift apart. And 4 out of 10 times, it's getting closer to each other because you start missing each other. But then again, if you're not that great of friends, you won't miss each other, you'll just get tired of each other and drift apart. And when you have friends in real life, you always know that they're around and they're not really going to go anywhere. So you take that for granted, and the value of that friendship decreases.
What about your opinion, Sunny?
Well, it depends. I do think online friendships can be, most of the time, just as meaningful as the in-person ones. While the dynamic is different because you can't meet face to face, a good friendship is built on, in my opinion, trust, communication, and shared experiences, which can easily happen online. I've had some very fun conversations with my online friends myself, and even though we haven't met in person, I still feel connected to them. However, I do think that we still need to be aware because they can easily lie when we cannot see their body language and identify the truth by just going to their house and and search for proof and all of that. The in-person friendships do have the advantage of physical presence and spontaneous interactions, while online friendships you have to be quite careful.
That whatever happens, you always get to learn something about a situation that you're in. And that itself, I think, is like a life experiences where you're collecting each day and it would benefit you in the future. And what advice would you give to other homeschool students who feel lonely or shy about making friends online?
The advice I would give is be confident with who you are. Take baby steps to make more friends, and even if it means ending a couple friendships, it's okay. It just meant they weren't exactly meant to be. And also remember that some people are only there for a chapter of your life, but some of them stay for the whole story.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, what about you, Sunny? Do you have any advice to share?
Well, surprisingly, mine is very similar to Envy's. So, for anyone who feels lonely or shy about making friends online, my best advice would be to take small steps and just put yourself out there, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Try joining discussions like in class. Even if you're shy, interacting with others over time can help you get more comfortable eventually. Be open to conversations. Don't worry about saying the perfect thing, just share your thoughts and ask questions. You'd be surprised by how many people are in the same boat and are looking for connections too.
Absolutely. I agree with both of you both. Thank you for your advices. These are beautiful advices that I think that our listeners would cherish a lot. And I'd like to say thank you, MV and Sunny, for sharing your story with us. We are excited to learn that you have already had an amazing plan for your future. We wish you the best. Do you have any last words?
Well, I just want to wish all the listeners who are listening to the Nisai Show right now to stay safe, take care, stay hydrated, and just have a good day or night.
Well, that's a signature wish. Well, thank you, MV and Sunny, for coming to the show. We will see you around. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm May, and this is the end of today's episode with the Nisai Show. We'll be back soon with a brand new story to share. Goodbye!